Alright, maybe not literally every plush tuber. Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about the eras of many of the biggest plush channels, starting with Awesome Mario Bros. Now, Awesome Mario Bros.'s baby era, I like to call a full, which is actually just the Dutch version of saying garbage, which is what it is. The reason why I couldn't give the origin era an actual name is because I'm going to be doing a lot of these, and usually they're all the same, so I have to come up with something. Now, the characters for this era include the base looks like Mario, Luigi, Officer Goodman, I meant Williams, and the Adventure Time guy for some reason. Yeah, so apparently a lot of the characters are just cartoon characters. I don't know why. Obviously, it was probably because he was in some cartoons, but still a little weird. Yes, even in his beginnings, he was still ripping off SML. Why? Now, obviously, I'm not like 100% shaming him for copying SML's beginnings. I did that. A lot of people do it. But if I'm being honest, it carried over through him. And honestly, it gets shoved in the Mario videos. At least let people enjoy the Mario videos. No, shove. Okay, just whatever. It's a little rant. I'm sorry. This is off topic. Now, on to an actual point, which is the thumbnail on his first video, which it's a little trash, but if I'm being honest, let's not pretend like I have been always been this thumbnail master, because I haven't. Shouldn't expect him to be this Photoshop master when it's his first video and he's like 11 years old. I'm just using this to track his progress through his middle eras compared to now. In my opinion, the era starts at snacks and ends in the poison drinks video, where they transition the Mario plush into the Mario Party 5 Mario plush. However, there's also many other areas to say the next era starts at, or this era ends at, like the summer camp season 3 videos, where the junior videos get a little bit more watchable than unbearable. Another video that really stands out is the Luigi Goes to Prison video. Even though the takeaway is just the Adventure Time guy talking about Hot Pockets and vanilla ice cream, it still is a time where he really gets to shine. For some reason, I don't know why he is the main character. Well, not a main character, but a side character. Whatever, that's not the point. Let's move on to the second era of Awesome Mario Bros. Now, for this era, since the main reason why I'm distinguishing this era is from the last is because of the Mario Party 5 plush, I'm just gonna call this. I know it's gonna really suck, but since I don't really have any other names to call it, I'm just gonna call it the Mario Party 5 era for my sake. Now, these videos are definitely more watchable than the videos from the last era by a long shot. Even some of the more not recent, but newer videos from the last era. So yeah, the first video is definitely going to be what I mentioned before. And now the video in question is the video I mentioned earlier, and it's the poison drink. It is what I consider the first video of this era, since it's the first video that I've seen that really uses the Mario Party 5 plush. I have seen videos on also Mario Bros.' channel that use the Super Mario Bros. Wii plush. I just want you guys to know, since I'm just expecting people to look at that and say, maybe this is the first time he used a Mario Party 5 plush, but no, that is a Mario Party Wii plush. There's a difference. And let's just start talking about the video. Now, well, the lighting is still awful. It's a million times better than most of the videos from the previous era, namely the snacks video. Obviously, it's the first video on the channel. Of course, the lighting is going to be awful, but it's definitely one of the more notable ones, even if it's the first video. I also like to mention that the Ludic plush, it's not actually an official Ludic plush, it's just a bootleg. To be fair, I used to have a bootleg plush, so I know how it goes. The main takeaway from these videos compared to a lot of his earlier videos is that he puts in just a little bit more effort into these videos, Mario Party 5 plushies, a lot of them don't last. Not to say that he didn't put in effort into them. For example, with the entirety of the summer camp series, he clearly put in a ton of effort into those videos, and especially the thumbnails. That is definitely one thing. But it is a little bit more notable in the Mario Party 5 videos. Now, the reason why I wanted to distinguish this era from the last era is because a lot of the classics, like Stuck in the Bathroom, The Chair, and Larry's Doll, I don't think these are all, but these are definitely some of the most notable from this era. Now, the last video from the Mario Party 5 era is called The Makeover, or I think it's called that. Um, this is where it's very clear the last video in this era, because literally the whole point of this era, the Mario Party 5 plushies, transition into the All-Star ones. And there's not much to say about it. That's pretty much it. I'd also like to give an honorable mention to the Thunderstorm. It's a pretty decent video. The lighting's not all there, but it's a thunderstorms are pretty dim. I live in a very tropical area, so I know how it goes once again. But yeah, I just like to point it out before I move on to the next era, which I will do now. And now we move on to the modern era. Now, I was planning to make the semi-modern era, but I can't find a single video that is jumped from the last, or period, or year even, enough to constitute an entirely new era. Now, obviously, the more earlier videos, like a lot of 2019 and 2020 videos, like the Thanksgiving video, the Siren Head series, which gave me a lot of memories. Those videos, right, they are classics, and I wouldn't 100% want to separate them from the videos after that. But honestly, there's just not big enough of a difference for it to constitute that. And yeah, I think that's awesome Mario Bros. Alright, now on to the next one, Super Mario Fanlocks. He also started off by primarily using the Kelly toy Luigi. I could not find any other Luigi he used within the first few years of his channel. Now, eventually, he obviously stopped copying SML, as I hinted earlier, and he grew into his own style. And probably one of the most influential videos on his channel is Baby Mario joins the cast, as Baby Mario is practically the main character on his channel. Now, he hit 100 subscribers within his first 100 videos. Under 100, actually. So that's pretty impressive, actually, compared to, me and a lot of other small plush tubers. Now, his first video to really blow up is Baby Mario Goes to Walmart. In fact, it's currently the largest video on his channel by far. Now, this in my opinion would be the first video of what I would call the Baby Mario era, even though he used Baby Mario through ever since then, a lot, even before then a little bit, obviously, but this is when it really kicked off. Now, he even made the first FNAF plush video, technically, even though it was still technically a Mario plush video. But if you consider it a FNAF plush video, he would be even beating plush tubers like Mario Muffet Adventure and FNAF Blitz to the punch. I also can't talk about Super Mario Fanlocks without mentioning characters like Chuck or Blue Monkey, which are some of the main characters. Well, technically Chuck might be an antagonist. Chuck, I think he wanted to, be the star of Super Mario Fanlocks or something, I don't know, it's all kind of confusing. But honestly, I'm gonna skip a lot of the years and just jump straight to 2021, since he's one of the few where his most notable videos on his entire channel ever are extremely old. I already named them, and those videos were made like 8 years ago. But yeah, I would say the last video of his Baby Mario era would be in 2021, where he announced that he was taking a break. And then I would say the start of the next era is when he announced that he was returning. And then first real video after that was Baby Mario's Quarantine. So yeah. Alright, and now this would be the start of his modern era. And obviously, I already named Baby Mario in Quarantine. I think he made how to make plush videos in public after that. His entire series is of the plush video series. I think it's pretty good. I think you should check it out. But that's not the point. I actually almost forgot to mention the Super Mario Fanlogs movie. I'm pretty sure the first one's really long. Yes, there is a second one. I'm gonna get that a little later. I'm pretty sure it's extremely long. So I haven't actually watched it. But I also wanted to talk about his most popular video on his modern era, because the Fanlogs movie, the original one, was actually not in his modern era. I just remembered it now. Anyway, I wanted to talk about Baby Mario Goes to See Five Nights at Freddy's. I think that's what it's called. And obviously, I don't need to tell you what happens in the video. It has around 285,000 views, which is a lot. It really is a lot. But now I want to mention his final video of this era, which is the Super Mario Fanlogs movie 2. And basically, it was his swan song, where he basically announced he was quitting. Not announced necessarily, but it was his final video on his channel. Once again, like a swan song. Yeah, I think I finished Super Mario Fanlogs. So now let's move on to the next plush channel. And trust me, I think you already have heard this name before. This is not going to be unfamiliar to you. And now let's move on to SML. And this is the one where I don't think I need to do practically any research on, since I already know him enough. And I'm going to skip a lot of these, since this is the most iconic one when it comes to eras. You know a lot of these. I'm just going to fast forward to the ones that I think I have the newer takes on, or more different ones than the popular majority. So yeah. Now, honestly, I'm just gonna practically skip to the golden era, quote unquote. I would like to call it the classic era, since it's not my personal favorite era. I'm just gonna skip to that over the old era, because those videos they're basically unwatchable. Once again, they're that type of old. I will name Mario Gets Bacon, Likes Bacon, I think it's called, and Tony Gets a Girlfriend, just so I named them. And yes, Tony, he is a real character. I hope you guys remember him. Honestly, I might have to, now that we're actually on the classic era, I might have to fast forward this one a bit too. I haven't watched much of it at all, but I will once again point out Bowser's Milkshake. I think it was the first video in his entire channel with an actual thumbnail, and it looks, actually, I think it looks really good. It looks really good. I really like this thumbnail, especially being the first true thumbnail on his channel. Well, I guess you could technically exclude the Shrimpo Hunter series. I haven't watched that, though, and it's still not as good. So, the thumbnails not one aren't as good as the Battle's Milkshake thumbnail. I don't know why, I'm just in love with that video's thumbnail. Now, the first video on the classic era is named Mario and Luigi's Dumb Adventures, Season 1, Episode 1, I think. I don't know about the last two, I'm not 100% sure. I will say that the last video on this channel's name, the name of this video is called Delta Shrimpo. Now let's move on to the Junior era, and this is one of the more interesting eras. Now, the first videos of this era are titled Junior's Macaroni, and the last is Bowser's House Fire. Now, I know some people would say it's Cool Cody, but don't worry, I'll explain why it's Bowser's House Fire in a minute. I think you guys already know why, but just throwing that out there. Now, obviously, the Junior era has a lot of really good series, even though the Luigi's Mansion, one of my personal favorite, it was never finished. That's pretty sad to me. I've always thought that was pretty sad, and they can't finish it anymore because they have the puppets now. So that's pretty sad. So yeah, one the most popular videos on in this era are titled Junior's Cheeseburger and Junior's Happy Meal. I'm sure there's more. As I said, I would say a lot, but I I don't want to feel like I don't want to name all of them since there's probably going to be a lot of them. I'd imagine. Also, I'm too lazy to do my research. Now, this next era I would call the apartment era. Now, the reason why I didn't just have a junior era and then it magically cut off to the Jeffy era in the middle of what I like to call the apartment era is because Jeffy and Junior can still coexist in this time period. And once again, throughout most of this era, Jeffy and Junior can still coexist. And Jeffy's personality, it's a little more dumb as opposed to just bratty, and it's a different type of annoying. And I know it's probably a lot less hated than the 2017 one. I'm sure some people would agree with me on that Jeffy isn't insufferable in 2016 compared to a mid 2017. I know it's probably pretty controversial, but giving your opinion on anything that has to do with Jeffy is always going to be controversial. Now let's move on to the infamous era, the Jeffy era, which is why I would say starts the second they move into the apartment, out of the apartment. Now, as you can imagine, the last video of the last era, the apartment era, would obviously be the Kublix Part 2 video, and the first video of this era, the Jeffy era, would be the new house video, where Jeffy, it's right when he starts getting a little bit more amped up, and then came, and it's a little harder for Jeffy and Junior to coexist, since Jeffy is the part where Jeffy starts absolutely running everything. Now, this is when Jeffy just straight up becomes infamous to a lot of people. A lot of people absolutely hate Jeffy at this point. I know a lot of junior fans already did hate Jeffy, but this is where things got much more intense. And obviously, I can see why. There's a reason, since this is where Jeffy, he amped up a lot, and he got a little less dumb, and a lot of things just became much, much darker. The most popular video from this era, Jeffy's Tantrum, I think it led to them being put on the news. I'm pretty sure. I'm not even 100% sure Nintendo would have DNCA'd them if this video happened. However, that's still not for certain. And honestly, I think it's now time to move on to the Puppets era, which is going to be really fast, since there's more people to explain what happened here than just me. I don't really want to make this a more SML focused video, since obviously the whole reason why I made this is because I felt like the whole era thing was only applied to SML pretty much. Obviously, it makes sense, but I'm just saying. Now, once again, let's just move on to the Puppets era. Now, the last video of the Jeffy era, I think it was some Go Subscribe video. I mean, I'm just going off what SML Uploaded says, so that's not really fair. But you get the point, right? Now I would start talking about the current SML channel that they're currently on, which is why it's obviously called the Puppets era. The most popular videos from here are Jeffy the Boxer and Jeffy's 18th birthday. I think there's one more, but those are the main ones. Now, once again, the reason why I'm pacing through this is because if you're specifically focused on SML, this isn't the right video for you. Once again, the whole reason why I'm making this video is because I don't want SML to be the only one with eras or whatever. So yeah. Since SML didn't quit like Super Mario Fanlocks, and it's practically ever evolving, or ever content creating, since I wouldn't necessarily call it evolving these days, I'm just going to move on to the next plush tuber. Alright, now we move on to Super Mario Richie. I don't think he really needs an introduction. So yeah, I think his first video was named, hold on. I think it was called Mario and Luigi's Crazy and Retarded Adventures. But his first Koopaling, dedicated Koopaling video without outside of Fletcher reviews is called Bowser Jr.'s New Friend. And you might have noticed I didn't give this era a name yet, and honestly, I just completely ran out of names. I could not think of a name. So I'm just gonna call this. I'm just gonna, for now on, the next three flush viewers, which are gonna be the three last ones. I'm just gonna put it in numbers anyway. Moving on to Mario Richie. Now, obviously, he gradually, not very gradually, but he started to add couplings into his videos more and more, and they were clearly getting more popular, obviously, which is obviously why he kept doing them. Well, one of the reasons. But the two characters you see start popping out more than any other characters are Iggy, Wendy, and Morton. Well, I mean, that's three, but you get the point. I would argue the last video on this era is Iggy's New Year's resolution, because of the video that after that, which completely blows up, which I would say would, just because of that reason alone, I would probably grant it a whole new era, since there's not really big changes with this channel either, like the past two. And I would say that this is just the modern era of Super Mario Richie at this point. This is where they really start increasing their video quality. Also, they do a ton more Koopaling go-to videos, especially to other continents and countries. And this would probably be the end of how much I have to talk about Super Mario Richie, since he's one of the more simplistic ones. So yeah, I'm just gonna move on to the next one. Now, this next one is called Mario Luigi Plush Bros. And no, this is not the one who quit like years ago. This is the one who still uploads videos. You might have heard of him, you might have not. He's kind of hard to find since he gets overshadowed by the one who already quit years ago, which is kind of unfortunate. I think his first video was this random Chef Pee Pee video, which is weird since I don't even think he does. I don't think he even likes SML anymore, so I think that's a little strange. Uh, Honestly, it took an extremely long time for his videos to really get better. Well, at least by a lot. But once they actually did start getting better. I still wouldn't say it's like an entirely new era. I wouldn't like say that either. I would kind of say that it's enough to constitute its own era, but just it's not really. It feels like a watered down version of the most recent era, so I might as well just skip it, which is actually what I'm about to do. Now, I think this one starts at Bowser Jr.'s video game store. I don't really, if I don't know if that's exactly what the video is called. That's why I'm being so cautious about it. But yeah, this is like really recent. Like I think within under a year. So this is a pretty newer era. This is where his videos really consistently started picking up in quality, at least when it comes to the thumbnails. His past few videos have been, I mean, nearly all of them, but especially his past few videos have been pretty dark. Of the thumbnails, the lighting's pretty dark in them for some reason. But yeah, just they're just Mario and Luigi videos. Sometimes it's Junior videos. It's actually a pretty good channel. You should probably go check it out. Anyway, it's time to move on to the last plush tuber. And I think you might have heard of him. I'm not 100% sure. His name is Crazy Mario Bros. Wait. Before we move on to Crazy Mario Bros., I will just say this one thing. I'm not 100% sure if this was Mario Plush Network or Mario Plush Bros., but I think he changed his name, so I don't think it was always Mario Plush Network or Mario Plush Bros. I really don't know. This is something I'm really not 100% sure on. But yeah, I'm just gonna move on to Crazy Mario Bros. Now, officially. Now, the first video he ever made is called The Funniest Video in the World. It's completely misspelled for some reason. Well, I know why it'd be misspelled since he was like really young at the time. But yeah. Now, his videos started picking up in quality extremely fast, and even made his first Koopaling video, which was titled Larry for obvious reasons. And eventually, it continued with the Lemmy. It probably went from there. Now, after that, his thumbnails started improving much faster, even faster. They were already improving really fast compared to most of the channels. Um, with that time range, but it's even faster. Now, even though he was using a bootleg Bowser Jr. plush for a very, very long time, he eventually even switched over to 2011 Jr., which is like the most popular Junior, maybe even more popular than 2009 at this point. Now, his videos started getting better so consistently that it's extremely hard to pin an exact date for when the next era, the modern era, started. It's extremely hard. So honestly, I might just say it might be a delivery video. It might actually be it, which would be one short era, but it might actually be. I cannot give a 100% exact date on when this era started. I'm sorry. I know it's kind of what this video is about. I'm sorry. I would. Anyway, long story short, I'm gonna cut it to the latest era since, once again, it's a lot of these eras are just like watered down versions of the one before. That's kind of why people don't make these videos. But I can't name this latest era. And this era starts at Bowser Jr.'s Poppy Playtime. And you know what I'm gonna call it? I call it the Brain Rot era, since it's brain rot. Now, that is a really controversial opinion. I know. Saying this about the most popular plush tuber might get 16 different riots called on me, and understandable. If you disagree and you don't think it's brain rot, that's perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong with that. But come on. Bowser Jr.'s Skibidi Toilet? Alright, no Junior, but you get the point. Now look, I know I am already on thin ice here when I say everything I say, but I also don't like when people compare Crazy Mario Bros. To Awesome Mario Bros. And say they're the same, because they're not. They are not the same. Okay? One is clearly targeted towards a different audience than the other. Awesome Mario Bros. Literally, I think in one of the more recent videos, they made like Luigi made some sort of babe joke. Obviously, you don't say that in videos targeted to 9-year-olds. Now, I know that comparing Mr. Beast to Crazy Mario Bros. Comparing literally, and Mr. Beast is literally like probably the most controversial creator on the entire platform right now. I'm on like, I'm on molten lava right now. I am not even standing. I'm probably inside of it right now because the second I post this video, people aren't gonna agree with this opinion probably. But here's another thing. I think I already said this, but once again, man, you're not freaking Mr. Beast, okay? You don't have to have these super flashy edits. They're not necessary, and they feel like brain rot because they're they're harder to comprehend. It feels like you can barely understand the video sometimes. And no, I'm not trying to say that Awesome Mario Bros. Deserves more subscribers than Crazy Mario Bros. Because if I said that, I would get, like, assassinated. I would get assassinated. I would get my house doxxed. My house would get set on fire. Since I know that Awesome Mario Bros. Is probably more controversial than Crazy Mario Bros. Right now. But yeah, I hope that you can at least see where I'm coming from. And it's not like I never liked Crazy Mario Bros. I really liked his Koopaling videos. They were amazing. He's just not for me. But anyway, that's the video, and thanks for watching.